because Columbus discovered America. And once you have made that lie the dogma, the canon, then you go about and develop crap that you teach people. And that's what it is. It's just pure crap. It just doesn't hold up in any kind of logic. And let me show you. There's no fossil evidence up here that's older than the fossil evidence down here. They have evidence down here 47,000 years old. And up here, at best, it's 28,000. So now you want me to believe that my ancestors came in this way, left no remains, carried them down here, kicked up brownness on the way because they lost it coming in, right? And somebody says, well, how do you know that they see the reason Columbus called the people Indians was because they were dark. He wasn't going to India. Columbus was going to Japan. Columbus was going to Japan. Read his diary. He was going to Cipango. So we should all be called Cipanguese. But we're called Indians. Like the subcontinent of dark people. Indios means dark. The Taiwanese are called Indians. Indonesians. You know, I mean, you got Gloria walked in all these intellectuals. I'm so glad I didn't go to college till I was 36. I never got to be intellectual. You know, all these intellectuals say, well, Columbus said, in God, you know, in the oath. I said, bull. He saw some black people and he called them, oh, look at those black folks, those in the oath. That's what he did. And I'm a historian. I'm in the John Henry Clark School. Here is Verrazano's diary. You know that bridge that y'all like to cross? Verrazano's diary. The complexion of these people is black, B-L-A-C-K. Not much different from that of the Ethiopians. Their hair is black and thick and not very long. It is worn tied back upon the head in the form of a little tail. And this is the Carolina coast. Then he goes up to Delaware and New Jersey. He said he found them fairer than the others. Okay, and he goes all the way up the coast, on the Carolina coast. This young man remarked that these people were black like the others and that they had shining skins, middle stature, and sharper faces.
What are you talking about, the Indians?
Okay. This is the native, these are the indigenous people. Verrazano in the 16th century, that's what he found. That's what Columbus found. They found black people, those Indios. Now, Columbus came over here. Now, let me finish this trip. And people say, well, you know, maybe it's difficult to get across the Atlantic Ocean, you know. You know, maybe the ocean is rough. You know, we got to hold on to this lie that we created. And said, well, how about this the ocean? Cabral, who, quote unquote, discovered Brazil, he was trying to follow Vasco da Gama's route, and he got outside the Congo River here, and he's trying to get here, and his fleet was blown across the Atlantic. That's how hard it is to get across the Atlantic. The wind just blew him across the Atlantic in 1500, and he discovered in his lost soul Brazil. And that's in red and gold. And there's a river that goes just like this in the ocean. You know, there are rivers. Why everybody ends up in the Caribbean is because there are rivers in the ocean where the current just takes you right there and takes you right there. You know, what Columbus discovered was the way to get home. That's what Columbus discovered. Now, my nice little auntie is from You know, a lot of the Afrikaners, you know, Dr. Carruthers and stuff, they don't want you to talk about your Native American ancestry, you know. You're trying not to be African. I think I was African. And so, my ancestors, not this one was Lakota, on my grandmother's side is Micmac. Now, the Micmacs in Nova Scotia are people. Now, the Micmacs had a hieroglyphic language, identical almost to the Egyptian. Now, Jake Carruthers' Cheyenne ain't had no hieroglyphic language. And I showed him this. In fact, I Xeroxed and sent him the whole thing. America, BC, before Columbus, my ancestors had a hieroglyphic language, identical or similar. In some places, identical. So my buddy Ron Walters, he said, well, you know what that means, Charshee? I said, what does that mean? You know, because of course he's intellectual, because he's the political scientist. He said, it means the Micmacs were in Egypt. And I said, no, it means, he said, it means Egyptians were in Nova Scotia. And I said, no, it means the Micmacs were in Egypt. Ocean goes both ways. I could show you, if you get this book, Black Africans and Native Americans, that they traced all kinds of running back and forth long before Columbus. The Native Americans did more going this way than the Europeans did this way. And you know why? The Native Americans were the most fantastic you know what I mean by Native Americans, what Columbus called Indians, right? The most fantastic seaworthy people in the history of man. They would take one entire tree, they would cut it out and make a canoe that would carry 140 men. And they were so slick. You ever watch Native Americans in canoe? They paddle this way, they paddle where they go. Everybody else paddles this way, they don't know where the hell they go. And you know what's so great about a canoe? When it capsizes, you just swim and ride it back up. It will not sink. You know why it won't sink? Ain't got no holes. Ain't got no holes. It's not plugged up. You know, it's just like you see a tree floating out there. It's just nature functioning with nature. Right. And they could travel clear across the ocean, and with, you know, with the power of 140 men, etc. And in fact, when the colonizers came here, they had to learn to use the canoes because their little boats were capsizing all the time. And you know, when they capsize, they sink, and you underneath it. You know, it's not good when you're in a boat and it sinks and you underneath it because you got to swim around to get out. Same thing with the kayak, you know, like the Inuits, what are the Eskimos, they make their kayak where you sit in, you're almost the boat just down, and you can go down the rafters and everything. No other people could do that. No other people could do that. No other people could do that. And they're very much into nature. It's a very significant thing. Now, so I've got you over here, and I'm showing you the most ancient people in this country are right here in Brazil. I've used this book. You can write to Newsweek and ask them for fall winter 1991. You should have them do it from the study group and get have the whole group get a couple of hundred. I use this in my practice. I love this book. See, they give you that one way. And then, but they have to argue about it because they even give you the date. 22,000 here and 47,000, 45,000. So what they do? Clean up all their debris along the way. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what do you do with that? And they write. Well, let me show you. Even when they tell the truth, they lie. Here it says, the question said, determining how and when people first got into the Americas is the question of the Holy Grail. The question is hampered by the antipathy, by the dislike of finding the truth. See, Europeans do not do research to find the truth. Europeans research to reinforce white supremacy. And whatever they try to do, that's all they do their research for. And I say that, and I can even document it. It said, despite evidence such as Metacraft, that's the thing in Brazil, and sites from Canada to Brazil dated as old as 47,000 years, the theory has refused to die. Despite the evidence, the theory has refused to die. There's a theory that the bumblebee can't fly. Did you know that? And they made those great big bombers as troop carriers, because I've been in a couple. And that's the theory, Instead of saying the theory is untenable, they say, no, we'll hold the theory.